ask Brits to name a gaming show from the 90s, and most are gonna say Games Master. I'm sure we'll get into that series at some point, but today we're looking at this. Though on the surface both appear similar, tonally they're worlds apart, with Bad Influence sat in the post-school, pre-home and away slot right after the cartoons, while its tea-time rival was held together by Dominic Diamond's barely even single entendres about firing spunk from the end of his knob like a World War II anti-aircraft gun. Slightly ironic then that it's Bad Influence whose very title reclaims the medium's bad boy rep, with added exclamation mark, like Airplane or That Darn Cat, in reference to the early 90s shrieking moral panics around video games. As Dominic was going on about cheat codes to make his weapon big and hard, Bad Influence had Andy Crane, who's got the vibe of a hip youth pastor, handing out photocopied celibacy pledges for everyone to sign before the pizza arrives. Plain cheese, one to share. At no point do you buy Andy as a gamer, and whenever he has to demonstrate one for the show, it's like when actors pretend to play in soaps, wrestling the controllers up by their faces. The show's gaming heart is Violet Berlin, denim shorts, Ivan Drago haircut, and a comprehensive knowledge of Japanese consoles. It's no surprise Violet was many lads' first crush.
No limits, no mercy, no surrender.
But every boy remembers the day they found out she was married to Gaz Top of How To, as the real 90s power couple.
Hiya, welcome to Bad Influence, the only place you'll be able to see moving screenshots of the very latest games. Check this out, Streets of Rage 2.
Moving screenshots, or as it's better known, video. Bad Influence was shot in the studio that housed 321 and Rising Damp, and they've given it an airy, open plan feel, full of surly kids playing random consoles like the demo stations in shops, all right in that stage of, I ain't smiling, I'll look uncool. These feral hoodies do serve a purpose though, as the in-house review team.
It's good graphics. Oh, I've just fallen down a hole.
It's too sluggish. Great graphics and sound, but underneath it's not a good game.
Me, when I finally feel like I'm getting life figured out.
I'm dead.
People talk about today's youth being snowflakes. I'm not surprised if this lot were their parents.
The graphics are really good, but I'm not that keen on it. It's just gratuitous violence.
I'm afraid I'm still on level 1. This bit makes you feel really seasick because the graphics scroll so fast. The fights are pretty horrific, especially if you fall off.
Some of the reviewers are vicious. I think one lad's mum got knobbed by Indiana Jones.
It looks to me like they spent loads of money on the license and virtually no money on the game at all. The graphics and sound are rubbish and the gameplay is even worse. The graphics are so pitiful, just look at that background. In a way, this game's cheap and nasty, cheap for the manufacturers and nasty for us. I wanted to give this 0 stars, but the scoring only goes down to 1, so when it is, I won't waste my money on this.
It's not that bad.
Your dad was going to get you Lemmings 2 for Christmas.
If you preferred the original Lemmings, without the set dressing and the ethnic tunes, there's a classic trade.
Ethnic tunes? You'll get Jockey Wilson's Dance Challenge and like it.
And occasionally I get these brilliant bursts of speed. I'm just so super cool. I'll take this game with no problems. It holds no horrors for me at all. You know, I'm just in there.
It's not just a gaming show, halfway to a Junior Tomorrow's World focused on technological innovations. But old tech was rubbish, like Violet excitedly demoing deluxe paint, with about 24 colours to choose from, writing her name in a way that's unfathomably quaint, and must look to modern kids, casually posting intricate green screens on TikTok, like a caveman bashing a row of handprints against a rock.
Oh, got a mistake there. Get rid of it in a flash. And then you can save it to a... or print it out and keep forever.
I don't think Rolf Harris has got too much to worry about.
Every new wonder that wows them, to us in the future, is laughably naff. A child trying to feed you a mud cake, and you can't help but feel they shouldn't have bothered. Here's a program that choreographs ballet.
So I have to be careful. As a dancer and a choreographer, I know what a human can do. Well, I learned it from the computer, and then I showed it to Christine, and she's doing her own interpretation of what it is.
Just because you could do it doesn't mean you should. Say, editing video on an Amiga.
Look, you can watch it forwards by dragging that along, or you can watch it backwards.
I shouldn't laugh. I cut mine on a ZX Spectrum. It's firmly in that era of people being amazed they can move a picture round the screen or listen to their own voice.
Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Yeah, well, possibly not. That's just some of the things you can do with sound. Imagine being able to play games with graphics like this and with CD sound. Well,
at one point, he really struggles with an electronic press kit for the movie Sneakers.
and if you go through, you can have everything you ever wanted to know about Sidney Poitier. Fascinating.
Their haste to jump in first on any new tech leads to covering a lot of stuff which failed or was otherwise forgotten.
That Kate's got here. This is called a quick shot supervision. What are you playing on it?
I'm playing Chris Ball. Meet the TurboTouch 360 control pad.
Oops, getting a bit carried away here with this, the new Nigel Mansell freewheel. This is the Barcode Battler, the latest craze in Japan. This is the cunningly named Mega PC, a business computer and Mega Drive all rolled into one.
Made by Amstrad, of course. What's that kid up to? Reporting on industry developments comes via a transatlantic correspondent who's got a 90s name for the ages.
Time now for our first American report from Z Wright, who's on a sightseeing tour of Seattle.
Z Wright, I think you mean. Z's clearly one of those cool Americans, like kids skateboarding in adverts for yogurt or Dexter Fletcher's accent in Press Gang, meant to impress British viewers, and Andy Crane.
We wanted to bring you some hot news from the USA this week, but when I rang Z to find out what was going down...
You get the sense he's been told to really yank it up.
I mean, it's not my style. I'm from Queens, New York City. Please.
Barbie, brilliant. Not.
And he's often looking at some new VR thing.
That has to be my best sightseeing trip ever, and I didn't have to walk a step.
This is what Michael Jackson wore to play School Days.
Virtual technology allows scientists to get inside the human body. But here in Boston, they've just spent over $1 million to build the biggest computer in the world.
There's knee porn on it. When Zed covers image manipulation, there's sudden unexpected hauntology.
But the very first picture to be manipulated inside a computer was this baby, who was probably surprised to be turned into a line drawing by the machine.
And that computer's been deeply cursed ever since.
Good, Benny.
Occasionally he switches from the tech stuff to human biology.
And the knob on top of the helmet is called a polemus. Bad influence, boy. Bad influence, boy.
Best remembered from Bad Influence is undoubtedly Nam Rude, the resident cheat guru. His bits cut in with static like he's hacked the broadcast, as a sort of shaven-headed pre-watershed Rick Mail.
Now, if you're absolutely brilliant like me and you fancy a bit of a challenge... Whoa, pump rocket, yeah, go wild! Whoa, yeah, whoa, right, good,
That weird name is Doorman, spelled backwards, because he's giving you the back door to games, playing on that 90s idea of computers as an underground world with its own secretive language, a concept which sold stacks of books in the early days of the net, to parents navigating the slang of dial-up, such as LOL, or My Wife is Seeking BBC.
Type in goldfish.
Nice little tribute to Freddy Got Fingered. In later series, he'll take on more of a pallid complexion, sickly skinned with junky circles drawn under his eyes, so it's mildly childhood destroying to find he's just an actor called Andy, who's been in 87 episodes of The Royal and played a vicar in Emmerdale Farm. One thing in Bad Influence's favour is a refusal to pander to the companies who've given them a look at new games or gear. If something's shit, they'll let you know.
See you next week.
If you saw films like Lawnmower Man, you might have thought that virtual reality was more realistic than that.
Yeah, the movie where a guy webs a woman to the floor with cyber cum during gyroscope computer sex. Bet your audience of 10-year-olds loved that. It's in these consumer rights sections where Andy Guy Gomer Crane really comes alive.
Why do console cartridges cost up to £65? 1/3 of existing Amiga software won't run on this machine. The trouble is, nobody knows which third, not even the manufacturers.
Handheld battery cost was a real sticking point then, and they do a test of cost per hour.
Of £150. Makes you think, doesn't it? And if all else fails, of course, the mains adapter's what you need, isn't it? Ooh. But that defeats the object of the handheld, doesn't it?
If Esther ever got diarrhea, Andy could have filled in on That's Life no problem.
Last week, you may remember, we reviewed Streets of Rage 2 and told you the price was $39.99, something we were told by Sega was correct. We've had lots of calls from people saying they paid $44.99 for the game. We checked this with Sega and they said, in fact, that is the correct price. Sega say they're sorry, but they're not as sorry as all the people who paid £5 more than they had expected, eh?
But don't go thinking he's your mate and start sharing your ROMs with him.
So it can be very tempting for anybody to copy games onto discs from a friend, a bulletin board or anything. The simple message is, don't do it. It's just as illegal to copy one game as it is to copy thousands.
Andy should have voiced those "you wouldn't steal a car" ads.
Yo, Bad Influence, check it out, MC Crane, kick it one time.
Though I live in hope, the last place I expected to find a rap was on here, in a bit about Atari STs.
The sound of the rhythm coming to ya. Space vibrations move right through ya. Check the controls as we start to swing. Sound so good you can't help but start to shake that thing.
Shake that thing? This isn't Games Master. You know, I think I was too hard on Andy. He's exactly the kind of cool dude teen viewers will flock to.
And I was saying the Atari's well suited to music. How and why, Kev?
Straight kick.
Fair enough, yeah, but it needs a bit of melody to make it a bit more interesting, doesn't it? Oh.
Bad Influence's real innovation was the data blast, a gimmick where pages of fast-moving text was packed onto the credits, only capable of being read with the decade's most judicious use of a pause button outside of your Eurotrash tape when Mum was out doing the big shop. Fist of Fun did it too, but thematically it works best here, giving viewers the feel of a super hacker decrypting information, though ironically it's only now, free of track lines and lucky draw pausing, that one can actually scan through properly. The bulk of it's summations of the episode, news, cheats and game reviews, plus letters.
Here comes the Game Boy, ain't a game girl.
And drawings from viewers. But there's other treats, such as Bad Influence jargon, an invaluable resource for time travellers hammering on Andy Crane's door for help like he's Doc Brown. Jurassic means excellent, Triassic not so excellent, and Ream better than Jurassic. Frame by Framing also reveals a harrowing biography of Nam Rude's hedgehog, which came from a wildlife sanctuary after being released from the jaws of a puppy who nearly blinded him. Last in the series has Nam's homemade spot cream recipe, and 1 week, in a crossover with TV Quick magazine, fast-fingered viewers are treated to a lovely picture of Anne Diamond. Back then, you couldn't just say someone enjoyed playing video games.
The finger fiddling and joystick juggling was well worth it.
Namrud here with more backdoor cheats for you jumped-up joystick jugglers. Right, keyboard creeps.
They don't really go in for celebrity guests, with a couple of exceptions. Brother pop duo Fresh. Me either. Show up to drop a challenge.
So this man knows what he's talking about, and he's well hard on Street Fighter 2. Your life's running out of Roseman. You're doing terribly well. The expression walkover springs to mind, doesn't it? You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes.
For a Christmas special, they bring out the big guns.
Fast cars, jet set, show bit. Yay! Well, we couldn't think of anybody else, but we thought, oh, well, take that, they'll do. Hello, boys. Have a seat.
Andy takes on the evil Robbie Williams in a race, and a battle of the banter boys.
Eat rubber, Johnny Popstar!
Okay, Frederick interviewer, here we go.
Come on, Rob.
See you.
Oh, whoa! I've already got into a horrendous spin. Oh, but
Did you see me?
Oh!
Here's a clip from our new video, Could It Be Magic? Merry Christmas, everybody.
Nice Christmas.
Plus a blink and you'll miss it cameo from old Hacksaw.
It's mayhem here!
Check out the beautiful bootleg Bart shirt on this competitive gamer.
To get to the standard, how much blooming playing do you do?
About 4 hours a day, sometimes more.
But time and again, the show returns to its fixation on duff early VR.
This world was designed for the police. It's a recreation of a road traffic accident. I like this view. It's the view that the witness would have standing in the phone box across the road.
All right, you ghoul.
Although if you do push it a bit too hard, it does tend to go wild.
The word of the week is poke.
Oh, and the helmet's optional.
It takes about 30 minutes to inflate.
Still, I think Andy's finally lightening up. Look, he's explaining how games genies work.
In fact, this is quite a lengthy process, but earlier on today, I did actually teach the Action Replay how to give me infinite lives in the Addams Family.
That's it, Andy lad.
A word of warning though, none of these cheat devices are approved in the UK by the major console manufacturers. So in the unlikely event that your SNES or your Mega Drive blows up while one of these is plugged in, your guarantee won't be valid.
Andy wears oven gloves while making a sandwich. Andy would greet a 3 AM home invader with, "Watcha?" Andy calls the police on himself if his shirt comes untucked.
Pretty scary headline, Nintendo killed my son.
As they bring in a lady from the British Epilepsy Association, I'd suggest it's unfair how Madeley gets all the credit for influencing Partridge.
A better group of people to comment I cannot think of. But first, tell us, what is an epileptic fit? What happens?
It can be triggered, of course, by different things. It can be triggered by flashing lights, or it can be triggered by lack of food, hunger, boredom.
Boredom? Surprised I ain't riddled with it then. Me, whenever Mark Fowler came on EastEnders.
Right, can you catch it from a television screen?
Though I love the way he describes robots.
R2-D2 or C-3PO from Star Wars, or maybe even metal people like these.
Metal people. Absolutely ream. Don't think much of his Brucey impression, mind.
Good game. Good game. The little devil Mo has grown horns because of drinking magic water.
I drank some magic water once. At least that's what the bloke said it was.
Some excellent cheats. I didn't know these Batman level codes.
Bad Influence may not be as well regarded as Games Master, but ploughed its own furrow in that comforting pocket of nostalgia when gaming consisted of Sonic, Mario and Street Fighter 2. And while it's a rather moot point asking, who'd win in a fight out of Dominic or Andy? Once you throw Namrood in there, it gets much more interesting.
Sad man.